demonstration. Once it is done, we'll share you. Okay, so first of all, what is a DevOps? Okay, DevOps is nothing but automating your infrastructure. In a single word, if a single statement, if you want to give what is a DevOps, I can say DevOps is nothing but a automation of your infrastructure. So what generally we automate? The automating is nothing but your end-to-end flow. End-to-end flow is nothing but once a developer develop the code, from there, how you automate your entire day-to-day activities from the development end to the deployment state. Okay, how you automate entire step, okay, entire flow, it is nothing but DevOps. DevOps is not particular a tool, okay, just it is a process how you follow in your company. Like it is a methodology how you are following to automate your infrastructure. Okay, that's it. So in this process, we try to learn different things. So actually DevOps is nothing but it is a combination of configuration management and build and release engineering. Here we are trying to give you a basic understanding of one of the operating system is Linux and shell scripting for 1 week. Then to understand entire data center terminologies and what is the how the in real time how they maintain the infrastructure in a cloud or else physical data center, we try to understand the one of the cloud computing technology, that is AWS, where you can learn like how to maintain, how to provision the virtual servers, storage, network, auto scaling, load balancing. Okay, the load balancers, it may be HA proxy or else the native load balancer of the okay, the native load balancer of the AWS, that is ELB. Okay, different things you will learn over there. Okay, then we'll discuss one of the configuration management tool called Chef and Puppet. Why we use the configuration management tool called Chef and Puppet? You want to install any particular software or else you want to upgrade it, you want to maintain it. Okay, you can do all these things in a multiple on an n number of servers in a single point of time. Yes, you can do with the okay, with the either Chef or Puppet. Okay, we don't discuss Ansible. Here we are trying to discuss either okay, Chef and Puppet. We'll try to cover in depth of Chef. Okay, most of the scenarios we'll try to cover, and okay, and also we cover a Puppet. We also given a project kind of thing, how you can maintain okay Puppet with Docker. That means how you configuration manage, how you can maintain your configuration management with a Puppet and integrating with the Docker on AWS. That means whenever you want to deploy any test environment in a Tomcat, the Puppet can create a Docker container and it also deploy that code. Okay, whatever the code is given, that will deploy it into a Docker container. What is Docker again? We'll discuss what is a Docker. A Docker is nowadays a new virtualization technology, that also we'll discuss what it is. So we discuss different DevOps tools like configuration management tools like Git and SVN. We also discuss Ant and Maven, that is the build tools. We'll try to cover in depth of Ant and we'll cover Maven. Once you know one particular tool, a build tool, you can easily you can easily learn the rest of the tools. And we also discuss the CI and continuous integration and continuous delivery tool. Jenkins, one of the popular tool nowadays in a DevOps, that is Jenkins. Jenkins is a continuous integration tool. What is a continuous integration? Let us understand that particular scenario. Okay, I'll show you one particular picture. From that we can understand entire flow of the DevOps. Just confirm me that you all can see my screen. Okay, if you see, this is the entire flow of your DevOps. Okay, like now a developer has developed the code and they committed into a Git or SVN. From here, the deployment environment, creating a deployment environment and deploying the code. This is the from getting the code to deploying the code. This is the entire flow of the dev. In this flow, the people will use different tools and different methodologies. Okay, we try to learn. Okay, here some things like See, we discussed that Jenkins is a centralized tool kind of thing. It can, it has a, by default Jenkins doesn't have uh, much capabilities, but by adding different plugins to that particular Jenkins, by adding different plugins, okay, just if you say it is your Android mobile, if you can add, you can add n number of plugins to that, n number of apps to your Android mobile, and you can use that one as okay, as you require. In the same way, everyone nowadays, all the application softwares and all the companies, they want to create their own plugin for the Jenkins. Okay, they want to add different plugins to the Jenkins. You can use the plugins, and you can the Jenkins, by adding more plugins, Jenkins become more powerful. You have a plugins for Git and SVN, Maven, and Selenium tool, JUnit, Chef, Puppet, Amazon EC2. These are all the plugins are available for the Jenkins. We try to add all these things and we'll do a final project, okay, where it can get the code and it will prepare a artifact, that means end result. Okay, then okay, we use some testing tools like JUnit and Selenium kind of thing. We'll apply some test logics on the particular code and use a chef, and we deploy it into AWS environment. This, okay, at the end we'll try to create entire flow of the project, okay, okay, to understand, okay, how we can integrate all these things in particular. So if you observe the flow, the developer has committed the code on Git, and we use different tools like Ant and Maven to build that particular software. Okay, whenever you download any software, what kind of software you download, either it may be .git, .exe, .zip kind of things, right? How you prepare that? How you bundle that particular software? Okay, the bundle of your software can be done with the build tools like Ant and Maven. While building, you can apply different logics for that. Okay, integrating with testing, integrating with, okay, sending a Java report, all those things you can do. We try to learn those all things in a Ant and Maven here. Okay, and you can say, okay, once the software is ready, you want to deploy it into hundreds of machines in a single point of time. Okay, you want to change any software configuration, you want to install new softwares. Suppose you want to install an antivirus on hundreds of machines in a single point of time. Yes, or else you want to, suppose let us say you want to install a Java on a hundreds of machines in a single point of time. How can do that? You can write a script in a Chef and Puppet that can be deployed in a different environments. It may be test, pre-production, or production, anything. It may be in a VMware, Rackspace, Amazon, or OpenStack, wherever it is. So we are trying to understand with the Amazon. We try to create the environment in Amazon, and we'll try to deploy that code into the Amazon with the help of different tools like Chef and Puppet. And also we can create a, okay, Docker on top of Amazon, and we can deploy that particular code. Okay, this is the flow. Okay, what we learn in our uh, regular regular classes. And okay, and this is what we can learn. Yeah, that is what the use case of the Jenkins. I can say, suppose there is a code you have written in a Jenkins. There is a code. Yeah, sorry. There is a code you have written in a Chef. You want to test that particular code. Once the testing is successful, okay, once the testing is successful, you want to deploy that into, you want to create an environment like a test environment, and you want to deploy that code into test environment, and you want to send that report, okay, you want to send that status, okay, by creating the test environment. You want to test, you want to give it to the testing team, saying that, okay, this environment is prepared and you can test it. If the testing phase is completed, automatically you want to create a deployment environment, your development environment, or else you want to create a production environment. How you can build all those things? You can say, let me show you. Okay, one of the scenario. Let us say we have created a Maven project kind of thing. In the Maven project, okay, in a Jenkins, once the code is prepared, okay, we want to deploy it into one of the Tomcat environment, one of the application environment. How we can do that? You can say that, okay, here you can say that post build actions. Once the build is completed, once you got a result, okay, you got a final result. It may be WAR file or jar file. Sometimes it may be zip file. Sometimes it may be exe files. Whatever you prepared, you want to deploy it into a different servers in a WAR file in a Tomcat, okay, demo directory. You have a demo directory in your, okay, you want to create a demo directory in a Tomcat. It may be demo or it may be your own project name, whatever it is. The URL of your Tomcat is this particular one you want to deploy over there. So it will prepare entire flow in a Jenkins. It will prepare entire flow. That means get the code. Okay, let me explain you that. We can add a different plugins in a Tomcat, like Git plugin you can add. So Jenkins automatically get the code from the Git. Whenever the developer committed the code, it automatically pull that particular code and inform to the Maven or Ant. Okay, we can create a project saying that whenever developer has committed the code, get it and work with a Maven or Ant. Okay, work with a Maven or Ant, whatever the project you have set. Build the software, and apply some logics of test logics. Once you build the software, that means whatever the artifact, whatever the result you got it, then you want to create a Docker environment. Suppose I want to build a Docker file, Docker container. Yes, you can write a script over here in a Jenkins itself. Okay, write a Docker container, prepare a Docker container. On top of that, install a Tomcat and deploy that into that particular. It may be in Amazon or wherever. You have all the plugins. Okay, you have all the plugins. You can add them into the Jenkins. Let me show you some of the plugins we have added. We have added here the Maven. Okay. Here we have created a Maven project. Build environment, define upstream Maven repository. We have created a Maven project over here. In that way, we can create Ant, or you can integrate with the AWS. You can integrate with Chef or Puppet. All those things you can do. It means the logic here is the Jenkins is nothing but you are preparing your flow, build flow. Now suppose it is prepared one particular result is you got, then you want to deploy, and you can do a number of build steps over here. See here, you can add a number of build steps. Post build actions, you want to send a notification to your developers. Okay, you want to push it to the Git again. You can do n number of actions. Archive, build projects, deploy the artifacts to Maven repository, or else you want to send it to the add a container. If you want to add different containers, you can add it. Okay, you can prepare your build flow. You can prepare your build flow. Suppose here you want to add one more build step. Okay, you want to execute shell. You want to execute Windows bash. You want to execute Ant. Let us say I want to execute a shell. One more environment it is saying. Now you say that, okay, once it is prepared, I want to create a Docker file. I want to create a Docker containers in an AWS. Then once the test environment, you prepare a test environment here, deploy it. In that way we can do it. We can say. You can add a number of build steps. Okay, there is an open source community working on a Jenkins. They are preparing n number of plugins. Okay, let us say Jenkins. Go to Jenkins. You can see that manage Jenkins. Okay, in the manage Jenkins there is a plugin management. You can see n number of plugins are developed nowadays. They are developed. If you see that available section, suppose let us say EC2. EC2 is one of the service by Amazon. There is a server. Okay, you can create a virtual server in the cloud. See that EC2 is a plugin for managing EC2 server. EC2 container service is nothing but a Docker. Container is nothing but a Docker based elastic, okay, build executions. In Amazon, EC2, if you want to have a Docker service, yes, you can use this plugin and you can deploy it. Okay. If you have this particular plugin, okay, Amazon container with auto scaling capabilities. You can have auto scaling and load balancing. You can integrate all this. In this way, you have n number of scenarios you can say. Suppose in one use case, I can say, if the test environment is success, then only I want to deploy that code. You can prepare two projects and you can say dependency projects. You can prepare a dependency project. So you see that any particular job, okay, any particular job, I say that its upstream is test. If the test is successful, then only it will build that particular job. If the test is successful, then only it will build that. If you see the test job, actually, it says that the downstream is a Marvin Jenkins. You see that downstream project is Marvin test. That means if a test is successful, then only I want to build this particular job. In that way, you can say that dependency management. You can set up a number of dependency management. Once is success, go for next. In that way, you can prepare entire flow in Jenkins. Suppose if the test is failed, immediately you want to notify to your developers saying that, okay, this is the problem where it is failed, and you can say, okay, you can send the report to the developers, management, whoever it is, and they can work on that immediately. Okay, the post build actions is nothing but you want to send a email notification to them. Okay, whoever it is, the recipient. Okay, whatever the email you want to send it, you can send that to that particular one. So that immediately, it is a continuous integration process. If something failed, immediately send the notification to them. So they work on it. Again, they commit it. Once they committed again, Jenkins will get the code and do some business logic on it. That means you test it, you try to get all the details, build that, and if it is success, deploy it into either servers or containers, wherever it is. In this way, you can work your project life cycle which goes on in a Jenkins. Okay. While preparing your RPMs or any other things, you have to specify in a build level itself. You have to specify in a build level itself what exactly I want to do. It may be zip format, it may be archive format, whatever. In Ant and Maven, we'll try to set up that particular one. We say that RPM kind of. In our build, okay, there is a tool called Ant and Maven, a build tools, where we can specify, okay, what exactly the result you require. Okay. In an Ant, we can specify different targets. There are different targets will be available. While preparing that, you can specify that. Okay. In Ant tasks, there are a number of tasks are there. Okay. These are all the different tasks in a Ant. You can use different tasks. Okay, you can use this one task and you can prepare that particular ones as per your requirements. You can specify whatever you want. You see that there is an RPM, right? If you see this particular RPM use case, while preparing, okay, in an AND job, we'll say that, okay, let us say an example. You see that there is a task target called RPM. Say that, okay, you have to give a specific file, which one you want to build as a RPM. Okay, to be directory, I want to create in this particular directory, I want to prepare an RPM file. Okay, just it will prepare a RPM. Okay, it will give an extension as a RPM kind of thing.
So is it just Ant or Maven can also build these RPM or dev packages?
It is a build tool. Okay, it is a build tool. You can build whatever you want. The logic is different. Building the logic is different, but it will does the same thing.
Okay.
Whatever you want to build. Because here we say that, okay, you want to build a RPM. Some people may require .zip, jar file. If you see that down, if you want to suppose a company called Oracle is there, they want to work, they want to build a Java software, and the extension they require is jar file or var file or dot some extensions. At that time, if you require a dot extension dot jar, they say that, okay, prepare a jar file, okay, prepare a jar file kind of thing. Okay, no, okay. There is a, see that there is a tool, there is a task called jar. If you want to prepare a jar, if you want to compile the files, JavaScript. You want to, like, there are n number of tasks are there. You can prepare your own task as well. Sometimes you require a specific format. At that time, you can build your own things. You can see if you want to create a zip format, you can use a zip tasks. How can use, how can you use that zip task? Yes, there is a different examples given over there. You can use the zip, and you can give the destination where you want to put that particular zip, okay? And where is the source files. You get the source files and use the logic called zip and put it into your destination location that you have to specify in AND. Suppose in Maven, suppose it is zip is not there, suppose you can use a AND plugin in a Maven and specify this particular one. That's it. In Maven, you can use plugin called ant, use ant plugin, and then give this particular logic over there. So Maven also can do this particular, in Maven also we can build this particular logic. Is that clear?
Oh, yes.
Okay. So this is the scope what we are going to discuss. Any doubts in this, or any clarification you require, just let me know so that we can discuss. If you require, apart from this, if you require anything, just let me know.
Raghu, this is Purushottama.
Teja, Sai.
So, what is this Jira for?
Jira is only for issue tracking system. Issue tracking system in the sense, suppose Jenkins has building the code, building the job. While building, it went wrong. Something went wrong. Business, the code is, there is a bug in code. So immediately it will send a mail to your recipients. It may be developers or whoever it is. Also, it will create a task. It will create a ticket, or else you can create an. It will create an issue in a Jira, so that all teams can work together on that particular platform. A Jira is a issue tracking system. It is a ticketing tool kind of thing.
Okay.
Okay, we try to integrate Jenkins with Jira as well as Docker, so that you can understand, like, if something went wrong, immediately how it is creating tasks. Also, we can integrate with the GitHub. Okay, Jira is a nowadays becoming more, it is a more popular tool in a project management issue tracking system. Okay. Uh, any other queries or any doubts, you can ask me. So we'll discuss that. No issues. Is that everything clear?
I think Purna was trying to ask something.
Yeah, Purna. Go ahead, please. If you are unable to talk or anything, you can just send a message. You can chat, or you can ping me on chat window. Okay. So I think I have answered your question. Like, if you want to build a RPM package, what the plugins you can will be useful. Purna, if you have any questions, you can ping me on what's and here.
Yeah, my question is there any specific syntax to build a code in Jenkins?
No, 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 no. You don't have any syntax. If you see, just I prepared an okay. This is my one particular Jenkins dashboard. Say let me explain you one particular project I've created, first job kind of thing. If you go to the configuration, what I did, I say that go and get the code from Git. Okay, my static content was there in my GitHub. Okay, get it. Then I said that there is some static files are there, HTML files are there. Okay, I want to deploy into one of my server in a var www HTML. That means I want to have my code over there. Okay, so that
Okay.
my website can be open. So
Okay. So it's the static page you want to deploy from
the
GitHub.
static page I want to deploy into one of my server. I've not given any server details, but I've parameterized it. That means whatever I've given at host level, let me show you that. Okay, whatever, let me run this with a parameter. Okay, I'm not strict to any particular server. Instead of that, I've parameterized. Now I say I've given one particular server or else particular pool of servers. I can give that so let's say I want to give 192.168 and 56.102. This is the one server I have, a web server which is already installed. It is now this particular process is going on. You can see that entire flow, what is happening over there. It is trying to get that code and it is build a success. Now you can see that whatever the code is there on particular server, okay, it is on one or two. The static code, whatever we deployed, it should be deployed on the server and it can be accessed over the globe in this way.
Okay, got it.
Like
Oh, here the host is just input from the user.
it is a
Input.
parameter. The parameter,
Yeah. It's,
instead of a parameter, if you want to give the static one, sorry, I've
okay.
started. Instead of the parameter, if you want to give a static one, go to configuration section. But that is not a best practice. If you give that is up to you again. Like, that is up to the project how you want to build it. Instead of the host direct, instead of making it as a parameterized, you can say directly. So 192.168.56.102. Okay. Now you cannot give a parameterized now. Okay, every time it will deploy in this particular server only. Sometimes the requirement may be changed. Sometimes you want to deploy into test environment. Sometimes you may not. You may require to deploy into production environment. Different environments you may have, right? At that scenario, if you make it as a parameterized and give that particular parameter over here, so that it will be, now you see that there is no parameterized build. If you say directly build now, it will build it. Got it? That is one use case. So suppose you want to make it as a okay, parameterized kind of thing, or else you can say it is a dynamic kind of thing instead of running in a static servers. That is the one use case. Okay, we have a different use case. We'll do a project kind of thing in a Jenkins, so where you can integrate all the things in a one particular go. Okay, we'll give you a step-by-step documentation as well on that. You do a project. Any questions or any clarification in our course content or anything? Just you can ask me now. So after attending the demo, what you can understand? DevOps is nothing but automating your infrastructure. Just you have seen that it is deploying the code into one of the server. It is already server is there, so it is you are deploying. Instead of that, if you don't have a server, you want to create the server and deploy it, right? Are you understanding? If the infrastructure is not there, you create it and deploy it. It is also possible. In a Jenkins build step, you add one more build step, create a server in a AWS. Then deploy that code. Whatever you can give a parameter over there, whatever the IP is there, get it as an input and deploy that code into it. You can write a small script so that it will get and deploy it. Okay, you can do that as well. Okay, we can do nowadays with the Jenkins after coming into cloud computing like AWS and Docker. You can do a number of things by integrating all these things. Okay, guys, that's it from my end for demo. And if you have any questions or any clarifications, you can ask me now. If you are good with this, we can wind up the things and we'll meet in our regular sessions.
One last question.
Yes.
So for developing logic in Jenkins, what kind of languages can we use? Like shell script, or does it support any other languages?
You can integrate anything. You can integrate anything with Jenkins. That is what I told you. Jenkins is an open source project. Okay, you can integrate now. All the people, everyone is trying to create their own plugins in a Jenkins. You can integrate all the things. Okay, if you say manage plugins, you have hundreds of plugins are available now. If you see that in available section, available plugin section, you can see there are n number of things. MS build, all those things. You give one particular code, we can integrate that. Let us say you say Python, right? Python plugin adds your ability to execute Python script in a build steps. That means if you don't know shell scripting, if you know Python scripting, just add that plugin and write a Python script. It will do that, whatever you require.
Okay. So without these plugins, does Jenkins have any default capability, or
No, you say
for anything we have to use this
you
plugin?
say Jenkins is I told you that Jenkins is just a dashboard. Suppose you Jenkins is suppose you treat it as your Android mobile. By default, you don't get anything, right? By adding more applications, by adding more plugin, what we say, apps, it will work in that way, right? If you install an app called battery, it will work as a battery. If you install a bank app, it will work as a bank. Whatever the applications you add to that particular one, it will work in that way. Got it?
Got it.
It is as powerful as you use it. You add more things.
Okay. So without plugins, we can't do anything in Jenkins.
No. Previously, in a previous version, they used to give some plugins as a default, but nowadays they have customized, more customized. Whatever you require, you can define it. Okay. I think I've answered your question. Any other questions?
Yes, that's clear.
Okay, guys. Thanks for attending. See you in regular classes. Bye.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Raghu.
Bye bye. Thanks for attending.
Bye bye.